The air was still as the disciples gathered around Buddha, their faces heavy with questions and silent fears. Ananda stepped forward, his voice trembling. "Master, my nights are restless. Thoughts of tomorrow haunt me, stealing peace and sleep." Buddha opened his eyes, his gaze calming yet probing. "Ananda, your fear is a shadow, not reality." The disciples leaned closer, their attention fixed on the serene figure under the sprawling Bodhi tree. "Ananda, tell me," Buddha began, "when a storm brews far away, do you panic before its winds touch you?" "Master," Ananda replied, his voice hesitant yet curious. "So it is with the future," Buddha said. "Your mind stirs storms that are not yet here." Another disciple, Rupa, asked, "But Master, how do we silence these storms that our minds create?" Buddha gestured to the forest nearby. "Observe the trees," he instructed. "Do they tremble at the thought of the seasons to come?" The disciples turned to look at the forest, its tranquility undisturbed by impending weather or shifting times. Each tree stands firm in the now, Buddha continued. It roots itself deeply, living neither in past nor future. Ananda nodded slowly. "But Master, unlike trees, we think. Our thoughts wander, often against our will." Buddha smiled gently. "Let me tell you a story, Ananda," he said, his voice like a soothing stream. "Once, a deer lived near a village. She worried endlessly about hunters and snares, unable to enjoy her freedom." Buddha's voice carried a rhythm, each word carefully chosen, like petals falling onto still water. One day, she found herself trapped in her fear, so consumed by worry that she missed the sweetness of life. The disciples listened intently, their breaths synchronized with the slow, deliberate cadence of Buddha's words. "Fear of the future is like that trap," Buddha said. "It takes your present and binds it with invisible chains." Rupa asked, "Master, how do we break these chains? Is there a key?" Buddha picked up a fallen leaf, its surface weathered and fragile. "The key is awareness," he said. "Feel this leaf," Buddha instructed, handing it to Rupa. "Does it carry the weight of autumns yet to come?" Rupa shook his head. "No, Master. It is as it is, light and at peace. That," Buddha said, "is the wisdom of now." The leaf teaches what the mind often forgets. Another disciple, Maya, interjected. "But Master, the future feels so real. It looms over us, casting its shadow everywhere." Buddha raised his hand, gesturing to the sky. "Tell me, Maya, does a shadow have substance?" "Master," Maya replied, her expression softening with understanding. "The shadow cannot harm you unless you believe it is real," Buddha explained. "So it is with the future." Ananda's brow furrowed. "But what if the future brings suffering? How can we not fear what may hurt us?" Buddha's gaze softened further, his voice unwavering. "Suffering is part of life, Ananda. To resist it is to resist the flow of existence." He continued, "The farmer does not curse the storm but prepares his fields. So too must you prepare, not fear." Buddha paused, his silence as profound as his words, allowing their weight to settle in the disciples' minds. "Master, how do we prepare without becoming consumed by thoughts of what may come?" Ananda asked. Buddha pointed to a nearby stream, its water glistening under the soft sunlight. "Observe the stream," he said. The disciples turned their attention to the water. Its flow steady, unhurried, moving without resistance over stones and through valleys. The stream does not hesitate or worry about its path, Buddha said. It simply flows, adapting to obstacles in its course. He picked up a small stone from the streambed. "Hold this stone, Ananda. Does it struggle to remain in the stream?" "No, Master," Ananda replied. "It lets the water carry it, without effort or fear. So must you let life carry you," Buddha said. "Strive not against the current, nor anchor yourself in imagined fears." Maya asked, But Master, how do we know when to act and when to let go? Buddha's eyes sparkled with wisdom. Act with awareness, Maya. Not in fear of the future, but in harmony with the present. The disciples sat in silence. The sound of the stream mingling with the wind, as if nature itself affirmed Buddha's teaching. Master, Rupa said. Breaking the silence. How do we remember this when fear overtakes us? Buddha closed his eyes momentarily, as though drawing from a well of infinite calm. Anchor yourself in breath, he said. He demonstrated, inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly. The disciples mirrored his action, their breaths uniting in rhythm. Each breath is a reminder, Buddha explained. It brings you back to now, away from the shadows of what is not. Ananda looked at Buddha. His eyes filled with newfound clarity. Master, the future seems smaller now. Its power diminished. That is because you see it for what it is, Buddha said. A shadow, not the substance of life. He gestured to the disciples, his movements deliberate and graceful. Come, let us walk. Let the steps of now guide us. The disciples rose, following Buddha as he moved slowly through the forest, his presence a beacon of peace. As they walked, the wind carried the faint scent of blossoms, and birds sang songs free of worry or regret. Master, Maya said. The forest seems more alive now, as if it, too, lives in the present. It does, Maya, Buddha replied. The forest does not think of winter while basking in the sun of spring. The disciples walked in silence, their steps mindful, their fears dissipating like morning mist under the warmth of Buddha's teaching. Each step, each breath, each moment became a lesson, a reminder of the power and peace of living in the present. The day stretched on, its hours unmeasured. As time seemed to pause in the light of Buddha's wisdom, the disciples felt a transformation within, as if their hearts had been unburdened and their minds awakened to a deeper truth. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson, Buddha spoke once more. Remember, my friends, he said, life's beauty unfolds in the now. Do not miss it by chasing shadows. With that, he led them back to the Bodhi tree, where the day had begun, now a place of newfound peace and understanding. The disciples sat once more, their fears of the future replaced by a calm presence, their minds open to the teachings of now. Buddha closed his eyes, his stillness a living testament to the wisdom he shared. As the disciples embraced the gift of the present, another day, another gathering beneath the Bodhi tree, where the disciples sought the wisdom that only Buddha could offer. Buddha's serene presence calmed their minds, though questions lingered in their hearts, waiting to be voiced. Ananda spoke first, his tone reflective. Master, yesterday you taught us about shadows. Today, I wonder about the flow of life. Buddha nodded, his eyes gentle. Life flows like a river, Ananda, constant and ever-changing. Let us observe its lessons. He motioned towards the nearby river, its waters glittering under the morning sun. The disciples followed, curious and contemplative. Look closely, Buddha instructed, his voice steady. Does the river hold on to the rocks it passes, or does it flow freely? Number. Master, Ananda replied. The river does not cling to the rocks, it moves on, unhindered. Exactly, Buddha said. Yet we, unlike the river, often cling to thoughts of the past or fears of the future. Maya asked. Master, if life is like the river, how do we learn to flow as it does? Buddha gestured to a floating leaf carried by the current. Observe this leaf, he said. It surrenders to the river. The disciples watched as the leaf danced on the surface, guided by the water's gentle pull. The leaf does not resist, Buddha explained. It trusts the river to carry it. So must we trust the flow of life? Rupa, intrigued, asked, Master, what if the river leads us towards danger? How do we face its uncertainty? Buddha smiled, serene yet profound. The river adapts to every turn, every obstacle. It teaches us resilience and acceptance, he continued. When the river meets a boulder, does it stop, or does it find a new path? It finds a new path, Rupa answered, her voice filled with realization. So too must we, Buddha said. The flow of life is not about control but about adapting to change. Ananda, still pondering, asked, but Master, how do we know which path to take when we are faced with choices? Buddha knelt by the riverbank, scooping water into his hands. Feel this water, Ananda. What does it tell you? Ananda hesitated before speaking. It is cool, refreshing, and alive. Indeed, Buddha said, the water teaches us to be present, to feel each moment fully before deciding our course. He continued, when you are present, your choices flow naturally, like the river finding its way. Maya asked, Master, how do we stay present when the mind pulls us towards what was or what may be? Buddha pointed to the ripples forming as a pebble fell into the water. The mind is like these ripples, he explained. Each thought creates a ripple, disturbing the stillness. But with patience, the water becomes calm again. The disciples sat in silence, their gazes fixed on the river, as if it held secrets they yearned to uncover. Master, Rupa asked, why does the river never cease? Does it not tire from its endless journey? Buddha's eyes sparkled with understanding. The river flows because it is its nature to move, to connect, and to nourish. He continued, life, like the river, is meant to flow, not stagnate. Stagnation breeds fear, but flow brings peace. Ananda spoke softly, his voice tinged with gratitude. Master, the river teaches us so much, yet we often fail to notice its wisdom. Buddha smiled. That is why we must open our hearts and minds to the teachings around us, Ananda. The sun rose higher, casting golden reflections on the water. As the disciples absorbed Buddha's words like thirsty soil, Maya, thoughtful, asked, Master, if the river is life, what are we within it? Are we the water, the rocks, or the current? Buddha paused, his expression serene. We are all these things, Maya. We are the flow, the obstacles, and the lessons learned. He explained, the river's journey mirrors our own, with its twists, turns, and moments of stillness. Rupa added, but Master, what if we resist the flow? Does it not cause suffering? Resistance indeed causes suffering, Buddha replied. The river does not fight its path. It embraces it, even the unexpected. Ananda asked, Master, how can we learn to embrace life as the river does? Without fear or hesitation, Buddha gestured towards a bird drinking from the river's edge. Watch the bird, he said. Does it question the water's safety? No, Master, Ananda replied. The bird trusts the water to quench its thirst, so must you trust life, Buddha said. Each moment offers what you need, if you are willing to receive it. The disciples fell silent, their thoughts aligned with the river's gentle murmur, their fears dissolving like mist. Master, Maya said, the river teaches us to let go, to adapt, and to trust. Is this the essence of life? Buddha's voice softened, resonating deeply. Yes, Maya, to live fully is to flow with life, not against it. He continued, fear fades when we accept the impermanence of all things. Just as the river accepts its changing course, the sun began its descent, the river's surface shimmering with hues of gold. As the day's lesson came to an end, Buddha stood, his movements deliberate and graceful. Let us return, carrying the river's wisdom in our hearts. The disciples followed, their steps lightened by the understanding they had gained, their minds quiet and present. The river continued its journey, an eternal reminder of life's flow and the peace found in embracing the present. As they reached the Bodhi tree, Buddha sat once more, his presence a beacon of calm. His disciples seated around him, he spoke one final time. Remember, my friends, the river flows not for the future or the past, but for the now. The disciples closed their eyes, their breaths synchronized, as if the river itself flowed within them, guiding their souls. The day ended, but the lesson endured, echoing in the hearts of those who had heard Buddha's timeless wisdom. Another day, another gathering in a blooming meadow, where the disciples sought Buddha's wisdom amidst a sea of vibrant wildflowers. The soft rustling of petals surrounded them. As they waited for the teaching that would illuminate their restless hearts, Ananda spoke first. His voice steady yet questioning. Master, you have taught us about shadows and rivers. What lesson do flowers hold? Buddha smiled, his gaze tender and thoughtful. Flowers teach us the beauty of living fully in each fleeting moment. He gestured to a delicate blossom, its colors radiant under the gentle sunlight. Observe this flower, Ananda. What do you see? I see beauty, Master, Ananda replied. But it is temporary, destined to fade. Buddha nodded. Its impermanence does not diminish its beauty. In fact, it makes the flower's existence precious and meaningful. Maya asked, Master, how do we cherish something that we know will vanish? Does not its impermanence bring sorrow? Buddha picked a single flower. Holding it gently, impermanence brings awareness. Maya, it reminds us to embrace what is here now. He continued. This flower does not mourn its eventual wilting. It blooms fully, giving its fragrance to the present moment. Rupa, intrigued, asked, Master, is the present truly enough? How can we find fulfillment in what seems so small? Buddha placed the flower in Rupa's hands. Feel its petals, Rupa. Their softness is a gift from this very moment. The disciples took turns touching the flower, their hearts stirred by its simplicity and the depth of Buddha's words. Maya, thoughtful, asked, Master, if each moment is fleeting, how do we learn to hold on to its essence? Buddha shook his head gently. We do not hold on, Maya. We simply experience and let each moment pass naturally. He continued, to hold on is to resist life's flow. To experience is to harmonize with its rhythm. Ananda, still pondering, asked, Master, can the present moment truly heal the fears and regrets that weigh heavy on our hearts? Buddha pointed to the meadow, where bees danced among blossoms, their movements free and purposeful. Observe these bees, he said. They do not fret over yesterday's nectar or tomorrow's flowers, Buddha explained. They simply live in the moment's abundance. Rupa added, but Master, what if the present moment brings suffering? How do we find peace amidst pain? Buddha's gaze softened. Suffering, like joy, is part of life's tapestry. It is not to be feared, but understood. He continued, pain teaches resilience and compassion. It is through embracing all moments, not only joyful ones, that we find peace. Maya asked, Master, how do we cultivate the strength to embrace difficult moments without losing ourselves to despair? Buddha gestured to a patch of wildflowers growing from cracked earth. Observe these flowers, Maya. They thrive despite adversity. Their roots dig deep, drawing sustenance from what others might overlook, Buddha said. So must you root yourself in awareness. Ananda, reflective, asked, Master, does awareness truly sustain us, even when our hearts feel overwhelmed by life's challenges? Buddha reached down, holding a handful of soil. This soil sustains the flowers. Ananda, awareness sustains the soul, he continued. When you are aware, challenges become teachers, guiding you towards growth and understanding. Rupa asked, Master, what if our awareness falters? How do we find our way back to the present? Buddha picked another flower, its petals untouched by the wind. Each moment offers a reminder. Rupa, you need only pause and listen, he added. The breath, the heartbeat, the stillness of the air, I'll guide you back to now. Maya, inspired, asked, Master, how do we live each moment as fully as this flower blooms? Buddha's voice resonated deeply. To live fully is to see the beauty in what is, without seeking what is not. He continued, when you stop chasing illusions, the present reveals its treasures. Just as the flower reveals its fragrance, the disciples sat in silence, their minds attuned to the meadow's symphony of life, their hearts lighter with newfound clarity. Ananda asked, Master, how do we share this wisdom with others who are lost in their fears and regrets? Buddha's eyes sparkled with compassion. Share not by words alone, but by living the teachings. Be like the flower, he explained. The flower gives freely without expectation, simply by being what it is. So must you live as examples. The sun began its descent, casting warm hues across the meadow, as the disciples absorbed Buddha's wisdom like sunlight on petals. Buddha stood, his movements deliberate and graceful. Let us walk, carrying the meadow's beauty within our hearts. The disciples rose, following Buddha through the meadow, their steps mindful, their spirits uplifted by the lessons of the flowers. As they walked, the wind carried the fragrance of blossoms, mingling with the sound of birds singing without care for tomorrow. Ananda said, Master, the meadow feels alive, as if it too lives fully in the present moment. It does. Ananda, Buddha replied, the meadow does not seek to preserve spring. It simply blooms while the sun graces it. The disciples walked in silence, their breaths aligned with the rhythm of nature, their fears dissolving like shadows under sunlight. Each step, each breath, each moment became a lesson, a celebration of the present and its unyielding beauty. As the sun set, painting the horizon with shades of gold and crimson, Buddha spoke once more. Remember, my friends, he said, life's beauty blooms in the now. Do not lose it by longing for what is not. With those words, he led them back to the Bodhi tree, where the day had begun, now a place of quiet reflection. The disciples sat once more, their hearts lightened by the wisdom of impermanence and the gift of living fully. Buddha closed his eyes, his stillness a living testament to the teachings he shared. As the disciples embraced the present's abundance, Buddha spoke once more, his words echoing with timeless truth. Compassion begins within and extends outward to the world, Buddha said. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.